The main villain was grabbed by the giant ape and thrown into his mouth like a pistachio. Her scream in the giant ape's throat was muffled into sobs. Outside the glass curtain window, a giant wolf is charging wildly along the Chicago skyline, while a giant crocodile on Lake Michigan is crushing the third bridge pier. This disaster was already predetermined when they were infected by 3 illegal genetically modified fragments. The man learned that there was an antidote hidden in the gene company to help the giant ape, so he stole a helicopter with the woman and went to Chicago. The two found the antidote at Gene Company, but were caught by the villain. The villain injured the man and escorted the woman to the rooftop, preparing to escape by plane. At this moment, 3 giant beasts were attracted by the radio waves emitted from the rooftop. The giant ape climbed up to the rooftop and smashed the plane before starting to smash the signal tower. The man arrived in time to save the woman, unexpectedly stopped by the incoming villain. The moment the gun was aimed at the woman, the man lowered his head and glanced at the serum hidden behind her. Suddenly, he shouted to attract the giant ape. The woman beside him tacitly knocked off the villain's gun, put the serum into her bag, and then punched the villain into the giant ape's hand, causing the serum to be eaten by the giant ape along with the villain. The giant crocodile pierced through the pillar, causing the building to tilt. The man pulled the woman into the scrapped helicopter, with the rotor rubbing against the fallen steel bars and the body bouncing in the rubble. The two successfully escaped. The sound of bones rubbing could be heard from the ruins, and giant apes emerged from the rubble. Do you remember the mangoes from Congo? The man spoke, and the giant beast's pupils contracted, raising its paw to touch its forehead. The antidote had taken effect. But the roar of the giant wolf and the friction of the scales of the giant crocodile have already been heard. When the man picked up the machine gun, the giant ape broke the steel suspension bridge and overturned the giant crocodile. The giant wolf pounced and bit the arm of the giant ape. The man fired directly at the giant wolf, using his firepower to attract his attention. The giant wolf was annoyed and flew directly towards the man. The man ran back, and suddenly a giant crocodile rushed out and bit the wolf's neck. After struggling, the wolf was eaten in one bite. The giant crocodile turned its head and knocked the fleeing man to the ground. Just as it was about to eat the man, it was hit on the head by a large cart from the arriving giant ape. The giant crocodile stood up to counterattack and directly swung the giant ape away. After a fight between the two, the giant ape was defeated and knocked down to the ground. The man ran into the fighter jet and fired at the giant crocodile. The crocodile was attracted by the firepower and walked towards him. The man launched a missile that exploded the crocodile, but unexpectedly, its skin was too thick and there was nothing wrong with it. He also bit the fighter jet to pieces, and in a moment of crisis, the giant ape jumped up with a steel gun in hand, pierced the crocodile's eyeball, and nailed the crocodile to the ground to die. The giant ape also fell. The man was worried about gesturing towards the giant ape, but the ape struggled to raise its hand and punched the man before lowering its head. The man thought it was very sad that the giant ape was gone, but when he looked up again, he found that the giant ape's eyelids were twitching slightly. It was just pretending to be dead, and the man couldn't help but laugh and cry. After the smoke of gunpowder dissipated, the giant ape pulled out the crying little girl from the ruins, and the sunlight shone through his fingers on his face.